the one called Mother who made the discovery. She was beguiled by the beauty of seashells, for she couldn't resist their lustrous, changing colours. With serious effort, she'd made for herself a clever necklace of shell beads strung on a painstakingly fashioned milkweed silk cord. For all her art, the fragile cord broke one day as she explored the cliff wall for a suitable new building site. Many daughters and women in the hill country were dissatisfied with their lives, and Mother sought to stay ahead of their need. The beads rolled away in all directions, and most of them disappeared. Mother went to her knees in a frantic search, but the beads had vanished. She combed through the sea oats, lifted a jagged grey rock, and then sat back in confusion. Where the rock had been, she saw a bowl-shaped depression in the ground, and there were her shell beads, like so many tiny eggs in a nest. She gathered the beads with care, placing each one into the seed pouch she carried on her hip. When she stood up to brush the dirt from her apron, she saw it for the first time. It was a narrow darkness in the rock wall, a slit so much taller than it was wide. This was no animal's den or crack in the cliff. There were no leavings or signs of struggle nearby. But what was it? Mother drew closer until, overcome by curiosity, she touched the edge of the opening and slipped inside. The sea wind stopped and her ears lost their track. She turned quickly to face the opening and could barely hear the whine of the wind and the muffled, restless sound of the waves. Far below, she turned round once more to check her perceptions. Here it was silent, even as she strained to hear anything inside. And the darkness, just a few steps in, was utterly complete. Mother sensed little danger here, but there was something more. She shivered, trying to work it all out. She couldn't stay here, didn't want to stay. The sky would soon match the colour of the sea, and to continue climbing on the cliffs in the dim light could be treacherous. Outside once more, the wind was deafening, and it took strength to stand. Mother approached the cliff edge as close as she dared, and went quickly down from her hands and knees to lying on her stomach, her hair tearing loose from its bindings and whipping in the wind. She peered over the edge, opening and shutting her eyes behind her hand, and saw 3 lights with vine bridges between. A level down. She could be there before nightfall if she could see the way. There was nothing for it but to go back inside. Mother returned, stepped through the opening to bind up her hair and tighten all the fastenings of her garments. This took precious time, as there were many. Over the noise of her tidying, Mother heard sound. It was a water sound, a steady dripping, like water through the many holes of her gardening bowl. With one last tug to secure her outer garment, she stepped outside again, into a wind that lashed at her hooded face. It was raining hard, and that is how Mother came to choose HYLA as the first assistant, we think. The young daughter, gracious and generous in her invitation, welcomed the leader who came to her door. Her shyness and humility charmed Mother, and the delicious soup she prepared for them that windswept rainy night probably did no harm. In the weeks afterwards, Mother taught HYLA everything she knew and charged her with passing on this knowledge to the other daughters and sisters. At the turn of the next season, Mother instructed HYLA to make and store enough extra Sethwood oil for 7 lamps. These they carried to the heights. Arriving at sunrise, she told HYLA it would be a surprise, but nothing could have prepared the young woman for the sights she would see. Mother had said nothing of her discovery, knowing a stern warning away from the heights would have had the opposite effect on the women. No one had come near, and as far as she knew, they had been unobserved in their journey. HYLA took the reed case from her pack and handed it to Mother, who admired the delicate pattern worked on the cap. She set it aside, blowing gently into the case as she removed the moistened plug of moss and inhaled the sweet scent of the white smoke that issued from it. HYLA held the lamp wick steady as Mother dropped the ember into the raised wooden collar of the lamp and a tiny white flame began to gnaw at the middle of the trimmed wick. Once it caught and was burning brightly, Schuyler quickly removed the collar and placed it on the second lamp. They had all but one of the 7 lamps burning when Mother stepped away. Schuyler looked up from her efforts and cried out. Mother's arms seemed to be floating in the dim light, and as Schuyler watched, Mother's hand motioned to her to bring the last lamp. Schuyler gasped when she first saw them, enormous shadows that seemed to climb the walls as they trembled and traded edges. In pairs they appeared to be dancing there, and as Mother motioned for Schuyler to set the lamp down, the shorter shadows appeared to bow a curtsy to their partners, and a 7th pair, both upright, rose to join them.
Leader, what is this place?
The Maker's answer to our entreaties for protection and peace, Mother replied. Only the one entrance, easily defended with night watchers. We can open the lowest level of our cottages to anyone who seeks our help or healing, and we can return here at night to safety. Plenty of room for all of us and for still more to come. There is fresh water whenever it rains or the snows melt. It collects in the stone pools it has worn into the floor, but we can also capture it in buckets and water jars. There's a honeycomb of openings to bring in fresh air. Here Mother gestured in a wide arc from ceiling to floor is storage and room to last a 12 lifetimes. Each woman can settle in with her belongings and establish a household in the space of her choice. There's room for the reconstruction of whole cottages, if that is the wish. We can make of this place anything we desire. When will we? How will we, In good time, Schuyler. You will have ideas about this. Your mind is quick, and your vision will be clear. When we know what we want, we'll begin. But for my part, the shelters for those in need of healing are the priority. Leaf fall is upon us, and winter will be here all too soon. I'll speak with Cora and Myra, Mother continued. Ravenna, I leave to you. She won't want to leave her nest, and it isn't necessary. She could stay and serve the sick where she is now, and we can build a 4th shelter next to hers. We need at least 3 shelters to begin. I'll open my home as the centre of learning as soon as I am established here. Winter was mild, and word of the cures and remedies from the healers at the cliffs spread far and wide.
It was in the springtime that tragedy struck